Mitsubishi Pajero 3, like most cars of the Japanese manufacturer, is famous for its weak paintwork. Therefore, the front of the car at the age of 10-12 years is covered with chips. If they are not there, then the car was painted before the sale, and this fact should alert. The metal in the places of chips does not corrode for a long time, and if rust has appeared, then it can be easily removed with a rust converter. When operating a car, once a year it is necessary to clean the drainage system, because if it becomes clogged, the front fender and thresholds will begin to rot. Mitsubishi Pajero 3 is equipped with the following power units: gasoline 3.0, 170-180 horsepower, and GDI 3.5, 203 horsepower. Diesel TD 3.2, 160-175 horsepower, and 2.5, 99-115 horsepower. GDI engines are the pride of Japanese engineers. Indeed, these engines are very highly efficient, since fuel is injected directly into the combustion chamber. According to Japanese engineers, these motors have a lot of advantages. However, as experience has shown, this power unit also has a number of disadvantages. So in particular, due to the fault of low-quality fuel, after 150,000 kilometers, the owners have to carry out the expensive repairs of the power unit. On a run of 150 to 100,000 kilometers, you have to change branded nozzles, of which there are 6 pieces. The cost of one is 250-350 USD, and if one nozzle starts to fail, get ready, you will soon have to change the rest. In addition to nozzles, you may bring a high-pressure fuel pump. There are 2 of them. One is in the tank, 200 USD. The second is outside, 1500 USD. The first signs of problems: floating speed when the gear is engaged, traction disappears. After 100,000 km, the camshaft position sensor dies without cases or symptoms. In order to extend the life of the motor, it is recommended that maintenance be carried out only at branded service stations. To increase the life of the injectors, they should be cleaned every 20-30,000 km. It is also recommended to install an additional fuel filter. Most cars with a 3.5 engine imported from the USA are not equipped with the GDI system and digest the quality of our fuel well, plus such cars are cheaper in repair. Another positive aspect of these motors is that they are well known to mechanics and there are no problems with their maintenance. Every 90-100,000 kilometers, it is necessary to change the timing belt and its rollers, 1-200 USD. Spark plugs, according to the regulations, are changed every 40,000 kilometers. They are platinum and are not cheap, 40-80 USD per set. The 3-point engine is known from previous versions. This motor is well studied and most likely all childhood source will be eliminated from a used car, plus mechanics have no particular complaints about this motor. Diesel engines are very popular in the secondary market, and as operating experience has shown, such popularity is not without reason. Cars with such motors are reliable and economical. However, cars produced in 1999-2001 proved to be not the best way. Sometimes engines overhaul was required on a run of 50,000 kilometers. Later, the manufacturer modified the motor and the problem was fixed. On cars after 2001, for trouble-free operation, it is enough to change the oil every 10,000 kilometers. Closer to 200,000 kilometers, it will be necessary to replace the injectors, 1-200 USD pieces. The timing drive is chain. The metal chain is very reliable and has a longer source, but the tensioner will have to be changed every 100,000 kilometers. On the 3.2 engine, it is necessary to adjust the nozzles every 50,000 kilometers. If this is not done, the nozzles will begin to pour fuel, and this, over time, leads to burnout of the pistons. Mechanical and automatic transmissions were installed on the Mitsubishi Pajero 3. Motor is equipped only with automatic transmission. The transmission is perhaps the strongest side of the car, but which one to choose is up to you. I will only note that both boxes are very reliable and have a long service life. In order for the transmission to please you as long as possible, change the oil in it every 40,000 kilometers. The clutch on the mechanics, depending on the operating conditions, will last 70-120,000 kilometers. You will have to pay up to 800 USD for a new set. The all-wheel drive system is called Super Select 2. Generally speaking, the system is quite reliable. However, sometimes the transfer case sensor fails. As a result, the transmission stops working. This trouble is eliminated simply and for a long time. You need to replace all 5 sensors. It will cost 100 USD. Also, after 100,000 kilometers of run, you have to change the propeller shaft cross. They will ask for a replacement at about 50 USD. To prolong the life of the cross, it must be injected at each maintenance. Maintenance of the all-wheel drive system is quite expensive. Every 40,000 kilometers you need to change the oil in the front and rear axles, razdatka and automatic transmission. This model has a fully independent suspension, which favorably affects the car's handling and comfort level, even on a bad road. But unfortunately, the new concept adversely affected the life and reliability of the suspension, especially when used off-road. Wheel bearings are considered the weakest point in the chassis of the Mitsubishi Pajero 3. On average, they nurse 50,000 kilometers. The bearings changed as an assembly with the hub, so the replacement is quite expensive – $160 pieces. The second significant drawback of this suspension is the souring of the brake-up bolts. The elimination of this drawback is very problematic. It is necessary to cut the levers and cut off the bolts. To avoid this problem, carry out wheel alignment at least once a year. Steering tips, on average, go 80,000 kilometers. Bushings and stabilizer struts with careful operation will last up to 100,000 km. When buying a car with a mileage of more than 100,000 km, be prepared that by 150,000 km you will need to sort out the entire front suspension. The rear suspension has a much longer resource than the front suspension and can last up to 200,000 km without repair. In the braking system, the main problem is the brake accumulator as well as the contact souring of the guide calipers. The Mitsubishi Pajero 3 interior is very spacious and make a good impression, despite the fact that the manufacturer used medium-quality materials for its decoration. The car is equipped with a large number of electrics, however, failures in the electronic system of the car are very rare. Sometimes the display and the central console can start acting up. The replacement will cost $100. There are also complaints about the fact that the connectors for connecting devices depart or oxidize, but this problem is solved at the service for a symbolic price. If you are the owner of this car model, please describe the problems that you had to face during the operation of the car. Perhaps it is your review that will help readers of our site when choosing a car.